Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports back into the video today, and today the Los Angeles Chargers have signed veteran linebacker Bud Dupree. This is a great signing for the Chargers, and definitely, Chargers offense isn't strong, and we know about their offensive issues and how you have a great quarterback in Justin Herbert, who is an outstanding quarterback and has a great future, but you can't have a great future when you have nobody to throw the ball to, with his wide receiver group being Quentin Johnson, Ladd McConkey, and Josh Palmer. And I know they signed DJ Chark Jr. as well, so you got DJ Chark in the mix as well. But this is a guy who's had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler his whole career. Now he's going to what he has now. So, I know you drafted Joe Allen. I know you signed J.K. Dobbins as well, but the offense is horrendous. But at least the defense doesn't look terrible. You got Khalil Mack, you got Joey Bosa. You'd have to get rid of either one of them. And they had Bud Dupree to that defense. Not a bad signing at all. And that was the pitch that Harbaugh made to Dupree about playing, same defense with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, but also you're going to have to play your ass. I mean, did he also mention you have to play your ass off because you're going to be playing for terrible offense as well? But Dupree played 16 games with Atlanta in 2023, has spent time with Pittsburgh, Tennessee, and Atlanta, spent 2 seasons with Tennessee before he joined Atlanta in 2023, and was with Pittsburgh from 2015 through 2020. In his 16 games this year, had 2 forced fumbles with 3 passes deflected, 6.5 sacks, the most sacks in his career in a season since 2020 when he had 8, 39 tackles, 17 solo tackles, 17 solo tackles, 22 assisted tackles, 8 tackles for loss. In his 2 years with Tennessee, played 22 games, 17 starts. He did miss a total of 6 games in both seasons with Tennessee. Well, no. 6 games each season with Tennessee. He in those 22 games started 17 of those with 1 pass deflected, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, which he returned for 2 yards, 7 sacks, 35 tackles, and 8 tackles for loss. In his 6 seasons with Pittsburgh, played 81 games, 66 starts, 1 interception, which he returned for a 10-yard touchdown. He had 11 passes deflected, 8 forced fumbles. He had 2 fumble recoveries, 39.5 sacks, 231 tackles, 54 tackles for loss. So he was amazing in Pittsburgh and has been, I wouldn't say mid in Atlanta and Tennessee, but not as good as he's been good for Tennessee and Atlanta, but not as near as good as he was for Pittsburgh. But still, I believe this is a good signing for the Chargers. You already have a very solid defense compared to terrible offense, and now you add a really nice veteran linebacker like Bud Dupree. I like the addition for Los Angeles, but I mean, you got to make some changes to the offense. I potentially see this being a Deshaun Watson thing right here. I mean, I think Herbert is more talented than Deshaun. As a Texans fan, I believe Herbert is more talented than Deshaun Watson was when he was in Houston and was playing outstanding like Herbert was. But what Houston did to Deshaun was they took away his weapon. They took away DeAndre Hopkins, just like LA traded away Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I know they might have done that because of money. Both of those guys were being paid a lot of money, but at the same time, they didn't do a great job of bringing in better guys for Herbert to be more successful. They just made his wide receiver group worse. So if Herbert has a good season, and they look at the 2020 season with the Texans. If you go back and you look at it, Deshaun Watson was probably the best quarterback in 2020 with the Houston Texans. Non-biased as a Texans fan. But the Texans' defense was terrible, the worst in the league. His weapons were awful, and he made some terrible mid-wide receivers look like great wide receivers. Like, he made Brandon Cooks and Will Fuller look like great wide receivers, which they really weren't. I know Brandon Cooks had a solid season in Dallas this year, but, I mean, he made those 2 guys look like Pro Bowl wide receivers when they really weren't. And something Justin Herbert might do with some of the weapons he has. He had a terrible defense, terrible wide receiver group compared to what he had last year. Had an all-pro wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. Just like Herbert had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Gerald Everett and Austin Eckler, the crew he had, and the team was terrible. And you know what happened? I know all the legal stuff happened, but you know what happened before the legal stuff happened with Deshaun Watson? He requested a trade. He wanted out of Houston. So I could see the same thing with the Chargers happening, but the only difference between, I believe, this year's upcoming Chargers team compared to the 2020 Texans that I'm talking about is that unlike the Texans, the Chargers don't have a terrible defense like that 2020 Texans team had. The Chargers have a good defense, so I guess you can take advantage of that, and that's great bringing in Bud Dupree to help that defense out. But if Justin has terrible wide receivers that he makes look good, just like Deshaun had, and they're a terrible team, you very well could see Justin Herbert. Maybe I'm not gonna guarantee Justin Herbert does this, but I could potentially see if that happens. If the Chargers don't have a good team, their defense is potentially bad, and maybe just maybe the wide receivers and the team is terrible. I could see Justin potentially wanting out of Los Angeles. And I think it is a plus side that you have a great head coach in Harbaugh and Jim Harbaugh. That is the only I really believe Jim Harbaugh is going to be the sole only reason that Justin Herbert stays in Los Angeles. If you had any other head coach, I think Justin would already request a trade by now, in my opinion. The head coach is the only reason why Justin Herbert will not and has not requested a trade. Let me know your thoughts and peace out. Let me know your thoughts on the signing, though. Peace out.